Alright guys, what's up? This is Xerxia here. Today I'm going to show you how to take apart your TM Hi-Capa. It's going to be a two-part video. The first part is going to be the slide, everything inside. The second part will be the frame, the grip, basically everything below. Okay. Before we get started, make sure you lay out something, whether it's a tech mat, a towel, or a piece of cloth. Lay it down, that way you can work on it. That way if you drop something, you don't lose a tiny piece. Okay, you don't want to lose a tiny piece, or else your gun might not function correctly if you lose a certain part. So make sure you lay something down. Make sure you get your tools, rag if you need it, and whatever else you may need. Okay, so after you get those, you're gonna take the gun apart. So on the right side, you're gonna push in the opposite side of the slide catch, which is this piece right here. Okay, you're gonna push that in. Once you pull the slide back like this, push that button in. I pushed it in on the right side. Now I'm gonna hold the slide, then I'm gonna pull the catch out, just like that. Okay, now when you pull this piece out, don't release the slide immediately. Kind of ease it in, that way it doesn't go flying out. Okay, so now it just comes right apart. So I'm gonna set the grip and the frame aside. Now you're left with the slide here. So the next step is to take out your guide rod, the spring and the plug. Okay, so what I have to do is, since I have a two-piece guide rod, I can't take it out like traditionally because I do have a wrong hop up as well, and I'll show you that. So I have to push forward just like so. Okay, and then I have to twist the rod in the front off. Twist it off. And I'm pretty sure if you have a short stroke kick set up like I do with 4 buffers, you're gonna have to get one of these anyways. Two-piece guide rod. So next, after I get that piece off, I want to pull off the second part. Be careful with your spring as well. You don't want to launch it anywhere, bend it, break it, because that is an important part of the gun. So pull it out, set it aside. Guide rod or plug will come out, and then now you push up your hop up unit, which is right here, and then your outer barrel, inner barrel will go with it. It's all connected. Bam, just like that. Now this is just for a standard TM. If you have the gold match, stay tuned. I will do that after I do this. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do that one. So now you just pull it out, the inner barrel, and hop up from the outer barrel. And as you can see, I do have the wrong hop up. This hop up is designed for 1911, not for a Hi-Capa. So that's why it has this little spike right here. That way you can see the back of my guide plug has a hole. That way it just goes right in. I guess it's designed for stability, I'm assuming, to keep the guide rod from, moving around. But yeah, I got the wrong one. So now if you want to get into your hop up unit, there's 2 screws, one right here and one right there, and inside is your bucking, and also it holds your inner barrel in place. So I'm gonna take these apart and show you what's inside. So now that you got the screws out, it'll come right off just like that. It'll split into 2 pieces. Okay, you don't want to lose this piece. Is what puts pressure on your bucking. So now the bucking is right here. If you want to replace it, just take it out, and then you got the inner barrel just like so. So let's see if I remember how to put this back together. If I can see here, there you go. Oops. Also, you don't want to lose this either or tear it, so be careful with your bucking. The slightest little cut on the inside will affect the spin on the BB drastically. Okay, so now you want to put it back together. You're gonna line up, I don't know if you can see it, there's this little square notch on the top. It's gonna go sideways like this. You want to put it into this square piece right here. I don't know if you can see it with the square in the middle. You're gonna put it in just like this. Boom. Okay, get your bracket. You're gonna Put that on like this. Make sure it hooks into this wheel right here. This is what controls your hop up, the amount of pressure that goes onto the bucking. So make sure that hooks on. Okay, just like that. Then take your top piece, put it back on. There it goes. Make sure everything fits perfectly. You don't want to be pinching your bucking. Make sure that's in. So see, like mine, I'm pinching it right now. So I'm gonna kind of push it back into place here. I don't know if you can see it, I might be in your way, but just make sure that on the inside your bucking isn't sticking out. Make sure it's in this spot right here. Okay, now I'm gonna put in the screws. There you go, that's the hop up unit. Make sure everything is in place, make sure everything works. Spin the wheel. So that's the hop up and inner barrel. Now for my outer barrel, I do have a compensator on it. The outer barrel and the compensator go hand in hand, okay? So you have to get the correct thing in order for this comp to work, because the outer barrel does screw on to the compensator, which you see right now. I'm screwing it off. So make sure you get the right setup here. If you have this type of outer barrel, okay, this piece right here that you see moving, it can come off if you lose this black O-ring or O-ring on the top. All right, if you lose this piece, it's gonna come right off. And in order to fix it, all you gotta do is put on another O-ring, and it prevents it from sliding off. Okay, so that's it. Wipe this off if you need to. Like me, I have some dirt on it, some grease, I guess, from shooting it. So wipe it off with a rag or something like that, and then just put it back together. Make sure you line it up. Should screw it right back on. So there's those. All right, so now back to the slide. We still have the rear sight, the loading nozzle, and the blowback housing unit. Okay, so in order to take that apart, you have to take out 2 screws. The top, which is for your sight. Now this is an aftermarket sight. Okay, so mine is simple. All I gotta do is unscrew that part there. The standard one, you unscrew it and it kind of, there's a spring inside. Try not to lose that, and it pops up and it should just slide right out. So that's that. Now you got the back screw, which is right here. You're just gonna have 1 screw if you don't have a hammer pad like I do. So I have to unscrew that screw and the hammer pad will come out. So let's do that right now. So I got my screw out and the hammer pad. Hopefully the camera is seeing this. So there's that. I'll put that aside. Now I have to get my sight off. There we go. My sight is off. Now with the aluminum slide, your blowback housing won't be snapped in like the plastic version. These slides will kind of like hold on to your housing, but if you get an aluminum slide and then aluminum lightweight housing, it's gonna come right out. So be careful of that, okay? Because on the top here is your spring for your loading nozzle, so you want to be careful of dropping it. Okay, so now you're left with an empty slide. So set this aside. Then on your housing, you got the spring. Don't lose this spring, or else you won't be able to shoot correctly. Okay. Now, when you want to take out your loading nozzle, you're gonna pull it out, then push up, just like this, and it comes right out. Okay, just like that. Then on the inside, you have this piece here. There's an O-ring on mine, and I have to tighten it just a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Replace O-ring if you need to. This is a standard loading nozzle because my reinforced one had broke, and I haven't gotten the chance to buy a new one. So I'm just using my stock one, and how I put it back together. I can't speak. You can see this notch right here. It kind of hooks into this piece, or this opening right here. So what I do is I go back in reverse. I kind of hook it like this at an angle, and then I push down and it should kind of go in place just like that. Okay, let's do it one more time. So when you take it out, you're gonna pull it out like it is. It won't come out, so you got to push up. It comes right out because this notch again is hooked into this opening. So you're gonna hook it and then push back in place. You'll see it. Once you do it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I'm gonna put it back into the slide. You're gonna grab your spring, put it on top here, just like that. Grab your slide, line it up, make sure it's in place. I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and put on my sight. So now my screw and hammer pad. And what this hammer pad does, if you don't know what it is, it basically protects your housing unit from your hammer smacking into it. So it's like this here. When I pull the trigger, you're gonna see the hammer just go forward like that. So without this pad, it'll just smack into your housing unit. Okay, so that's why I got it, kind of protect it. So once you guys get those back together, and you're done cleaning your pieces or replacing your parts, whatever, now it's time to put it back together. So you're gonna put back together the inner barrel and the outer barrel. I'm gonna put it back on. Then you're gonna slide it back into the slide, just like that. Okay. Put in your guide plug. Then you're gonna take, well, for me, I'm gonna take the bottom half of my guide rod and then spring, put it in first. Oops. So let me get that in. Okay, now I'm gonna put it in. Again, be careful with your spring. You don't want to lose it, bend it, break it. I'm gonna hook it onto that spike. Boom, just like that. One thing I hate about this, I'm gonna do it the hard way. So again, push it up, then screw it on, or for me, all right, it is tight. Then release it, then you're good to go. Now to put it back together, usually I put little dabs of lube. This is for paintball, but it works on the slide. That way you don't get a lot of friction between metal and, you know, like that. It's just a smooth sliding action. So I usually put that on, but for the sake of video, I'm not going to. So you're gonna put it on, slide back. Then you're gonna hold it, put in your slide catch in. Okay. And again, don't just release, ease it in. Okay, and you're good to go. That's how you do that. Now I'm gonna show you guys the gold match. It's the same procedure, it's just the outer barrel is what's different, so I'm gonna show you that. Normally you're supposed to pull the guide rod or guide plug back and then push up on the guide rod at the same time. That way you can kind of pull out your, whatchamacallit, your whole guide rod. If I can get it, I have no nails. So you want to kind of pull it out and that should come out. There it goes. Okay, there's that. And push out the outer barrel, inner barrel. Now the gold match is different. It has this kind of spring in it, so it doesn't slide out. See? I don't know if hold on. You can tell like that. There's a spring on the inside, and right here is the button to push off or take off the outer barrel. So I'm going to do that. Hopefully I can get it with this flathead or Phillips. I don't know if I can. There we go. Off. Okay. So now it should come right out. Did it correctly, which I did not. There we go. Okay, so it's a lot of work for this because it has this system right here. the spring system, so it keeps on this outer barrel. So if you want to take this off, you can see here I'm pulling the spring down. There's this O-ring on the outer barrel. Okay, all you gotta do is just push it off, and then it comes right off. Okay, now this is the stock gold match inner barrel and hop-up unit, as well as the bucking is aftermarket because I had to increase the FPS. So once you upgrade the inner barrel, you won't be using this spring system at all anymore. Okay, you can use the outer barrel, but you just won't be using this because the inner barrel shouldn't have this little indentation right here for this O-ring in order for you to hold that spring in place. So be careful, or just, you know, just so you know, if you do upgrade, you can, and you can use the outer barrel if you want to. And then to the hop-up unit, so like I was saying earlier, a standard hop-up unit will be flat like this here. It won't have that spike like mine does. I did buy the wrong one, so also be careful of that. Okay, so now you're gonna put it back together. You gotta do is slide it in, and then should be good. Okay. No, I did it. Okay, I got it. All right, so I got it right. So now you do the same thing. Push that back in. This is a little different for a standard hop-up unit. So now you're gonna take your spring, your guide rod, which is in a 2-piece, it's a solid guide rod. The spring, then your guide plug. Kind of do this, like a syringe. Okay, you put it in like this, pinch it forward, and then now you release the guide plug. Kind of stuck. There you go. It snaps into place, and then you're good to go. The gun will work again, just like that. All right. So that was that. That's how you do the slide and everything on inside. The next video will be the frame, grip, trigger, safety, and all the good stuff. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Peace out.